What motivated me to become a television journalist, a career that spanned more than 40 years? Well, I was in the third grade and was glued to the family TV in November of 1963 as the assassination and funeral for President Kennedy played out live on television sets across the country. And I knew then that I wanted to be in television news, informing the public about important and historic events. And my hero was CBS newsman Walter Cronkite. In 2004, I had the opportunity to meet and interview Cronkite when the legendary newsman was honored by Portland State University. In tonight's Jeff's Journal, my interview with Walter Cronkite.
Ted Baxter, Walter Cronkite.
It's an honor to meet you, Mr. Cronkite.
Call me Walter.
I wasn't as nervous as Ted Baxter, but my heart was pounding when I greeted Walter Cronkite in 2004 on a stage in front of hundreds of people.
Hello, I'm Walter Cronkite.
For almost 20 years, Cronkite anchored the CBS Evening News, elections, wars, politics. Uncle Walter was the most trusted man in America. So I wanted to know, who did Cronkite admire? Let's say you could pick a dream team of international leaders or something like that. Who would come to mind? Cronkite's answer back then was a harbinger of something most Americans feel is lacking today.
I know one immediately, Anwar Sadat of Egypt. The thing I admire mostly in leaders, political leaders particularly, politicians, the thing I admire most is political courage. The courage to do what they know is right, even if it may endanger their office and their career.
It wasn't just interviewing Cronkite on stage. I got the chance to speak with him one-on-one before the evening was over. And the most important news story of his career?
President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, some 38 minutes ago.
Cronkite's announcement of President Kennedy's death is immortalized in American history. But Cronkite says news people are not immune. It took an emotional toll.
When the first bulletin came in, you go to work to cover the story, and you're so busy covering the story that you don't have time to respond emotionally until it's over. And with me, the emotional impact came when I had to say the president is dead. And at that moment, I almost lost it. Up to that time, it wasn't an emotional story at all. It was a big news story that we were covering as best we could. But at that moment, there was an emotional reaction that I realized came only at a later time.
Cronkite's other big news story? Man landing on the moon.
The development that will be remembered 500 years from now is man's landing on the moon. Those young people who are living out there on the planets and cities erected in space are going to remember the date of the first landing on the moon.
Talking with Walter Cronkite was one of the memories I'll always treasure. 5 years after our interview, Walter Cronkite died peacefully at the age of 92. Looking back on that interview with Walter Cronkite, I found something that Cronkite said, and I think it really has a lot to do with where we are as a country today, 20 years after my interview.
If there's anything I've learned, it is that we Americans do have a way of rising to the challenges that confront us. Just when it seems we're most divided, we suddenly show our remarkable solidarity.
And that's the way it is. Let's pray and hope Walter Cronkite is right. You know, that was 20 years ago, and I wonder what Walter Cronkite would think of today's rise of what I call affirmation news. News and information that only affirms your particular point of view. And of course, that's fueled by social media these days, something Cronkite didn't deal with as a newsman. The bottom line for a journalist and those who consume news, there's no substitute for integrity, truth, and trust.